Okay, I thought I'd do this because a couple people have asked me about how I sew my perlers. So here's the perler. I'm going to first prep it. You can do it with your hands, but I've been doing a whole bunch of these, so my hands is getting tired. I just kind of randomly decided on this last one that I would do a video. And what I do is I pre-prep it before sewing. That way it doesn't mess up the thread or, break the thread as you're doing it. So I'm going through all the black on these because these are the pins. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Yeah, there you go. You can see how there's a good hole. When I get one of these I've done, you can see that you can't see through the holes once it's sewn anyways. But I'm going to do all the black because with the pin I sew through to attach the pin backing. As you can now see, my boys were having way too much fun in the other room. I got all the holes prepped, so the blacks were all my holes are. And just another note, when I was poking, I have this underneath here so I don't scratch up my table, and it's just easier for, you can do it however you want. It's just with doing a lot of them at once, this just is easier for me to have because of the hole here I can poke through. So next step, sewing. Okay, now that this is ready, I've got my thread, which I have already strung on my needle, which is actually a smaller size than the one I poked holes with. I've got several different sizes of needles in both, length and girth and all that good stuff. The string for this Pokeball is basically the length of my arm. I just pinch it in my fingers and cut it off just past my shoulder. And that gives me plenty of room to tie off without wasting too much. The thread I use is just embroidery thread. Just basic embroidery thread. It comes in all colors. And even, we've got satin and different finishes, multicolor. So depending on your project, for these I'm just doing black. And what I do is come from the back. This will be the back, of course, for me. And I just go to the top because that's where I want my knot. Oh, I'm glad you two are getting along. Boys. Leave enough to tie off. And then I come over here and try and fold it. And I just use a clip to clip it. So it's clipped there. And then I just start, sewing through it like you would, I guess, a weave almost, or cross stitch. Just back and forth. The lighting is not good. So you'll have it every other until you go back around. Just trying to get over here real quick. Show you how I attach my. Is that perfect with the size? Okay, so I'm coming through this hole, and this is where I grab my pin back for these. And boys. Anyhow, sorry, I'm getting distracted by my sons. They have little holes in the back. They line up pretty well. So just sew through it. And I'm going up through the top of the hole here. Pinch that. So I'm trying to keep in the camera. Oops, that was a mistake. Moved it. Boys, quit jumping on the furniture. You know better. The mattress in there. I know. Quit jumping on the furniture. Trying to do this at an angle inside the camera while the boys are distracting me is not going well. Here we go. Got in the right hole that time. So here you see I've now done the first attachment of the pin once it's tight. It's pretty tight. What I do from here, if you're wondering, is I go ahead and sew all the way to the edge. Is why that clip is kind of at a weird angle. And you could probably take the clip off at this point. It's just so you can pull your thread tight when you're first starting. It's not going to go anywhere now. Pull this tight. You'll kind of get an example because here's where we double back. So here on the back, how there's a gape, or the thread isn't over, and it's the same way on the front. It's every other. Now when we double back, it will make it so there's strings on both sides. And I just kind of have, dropping my phone. My own habit of doing this. I don't think it really matters which way you go up and down on this. It's just kind of balancing it out. This thread's starting to twist on me. And I know I haven't done these yet. I do those second. I'm going back over these. Just making this part solid. Boys, quit jumping! They're taking advantage of me because they know I'm not getting up and moving right now. So, go back in here. Okay, so now this part is solid, the top part's solid, but these are still every other. Except for down here, which I'm about to fix. So now this will be every other. Yeah, there. This is the hardest part, is this middle. And you might start having a little trouble with your needle here. I always keep my pliers handy. I've got different pliers to get the leverage I need. Pulling through some of these that you've sewn through a few times. And then you just double back. Where you just went. I don't know if you can hear them jumping. Murder my children! I just like to make this look the same. Just kind of make sure your thread didn't knot up any gaps. This is kind of the tricky part. You kind of have to, this is now tight. Gotta find the hole. Kind of go at an angle here to get past the end of that. Now, we'll be back to where we were on the edging. So we started here. I usually wait till I'm over here, but I'm going to get to it real quick. So right back where we started, and we just start doing every other again. And you do that all the way around. And when you get to this point, you'll actually come out right here. And you'll actually be going through this way. So what you do is you then double back and you'll sew this way, back around, the opposite way you go on the edging. And you'll come out here as your final point, and you just tie them together and glue them. And so I'll show you that when I get there, I guess. Oh, quick while I'm here, I was going to show you what I mean by double back. So we're sewing every other. We're about back to where we first started. See, here's where we first started, and it comes through that hole, but we want to do every other so it's nice and solid on each side. So we were coming this way, and now I hold this down so we're not pulling this thread, and pull that and pinch it. So I've got both threads here pinched just for this few first go-throughs, and then we go back the way we just came. And just work your way all the way around. Yep, see you when we get to the end. We're now at the end. This is, you can see, got it down to pretty good habit with my string here. And you just tie a couple of knots. I usually do 3 for, I'm paranoid, hence why I even came up with a sewing thing. I didn't like hot gluing pin backs on. They seem to, you know, pop off after a while. So I got my knot. I usually take my pliers just to, don't pull too hard, but make sure it's good and tight for a minute. Give me your thread. Alright, go ahead and pre-cut it. Throw away my excess. Get out my super glue. Kind of position my strings so they're in line with the rest of the strings. And you're basically just gluing the knot and those leftover strings down to the other strings. And make sure to get a little bit on each side of the knot. Just, like I said, I'm a paranoid person. There we go. Just let that dry. And you'll have a secured, doesn't move very much at all, Pokeball pin. And you can do other things. I did a set of Pokemon badges, first edition, whatever you want to call it, for a friend. I tried these crystals. This is something new I bought, but I tried super gluing them on because I use super glue. It's pretty much the only glue I use, and neither the gel nor the normal liquid, they're on there, but the glue eats like the silver backing, so then they're not shiny. So, oh well. I mean, they sparkle a little, but not much. But it does give it a little extra detail for the button. So, alright, I gotta go. I gotta go beat my children. Hope that helped. Bye.